Hey guys, Surgeon here. So I get a lot of questions over, hey Surgeon, I've got these combat stats and on this combat level, what Slayer Master should I use? Or hey, I just got this Slayer Master, should I use them? Or hey, I want Slayer points, what Slayer Master should I use? Or I don't like doing that. Okay, we're going to nip this in the butt and we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about what Slayer Master you should use and why and what levels you should use or have before you go for these Slayer Masters. So, before we get into this, if you guys are looking for a clan chat to hang out in, go ahead and join my CC. Link to Discord will be in the description. If you do like this video, go ahead and give it a like. And without further ado, I'm going to shut up and let's start talking about the Slayer Masters and what makes them special. Alright, let's start talking about Slayer Masters first off and kind of introduce all of them. So we've got Turiel, who's your first one. He's got no combat requirement at all. You've got Maschna, who's in Canifis, who has a 20 combat requirement. You have Vanica, who's in the Edgeville dungeon, who has a 40 combat requirement, Cheldar and Xanarus with a 70 combat requirement, Neve with an 85 combat requirement, and then finally, at the very end, you've got Duradale with a 100 combat requirement, and he's the only Slayer Master that actually requires 50 Slayer as well. Now, there's also Cristelia, who has no combat requirement as well, but she's not really a Slayer Master, she's a Wilderness Slayer Master, and that's kind of different. It's not really like a legitimate way to train Slayer, it's more so if you're trying to grind out points. So I'm not really going to talk about her in this because it's not really a Slayer Master that you're going to use for training. Right, so we talked about all of them, but when should I do which one? Well, pretty much you're going to be doing them in the order of whenever you have the combat level required for them. Until you get to Cheldar. So pretty much like once you get 40 combat, you probably want to go to Vanica. You get 20, go to Maschna. And if you don't have that, go to Turiel. But Cheldar, it gets a little bit different. Cheldar has the ability to start offering you some pretty high level tasks. You get the ability to start getting like bronze dragons from her, blue dragons, black demons. These are some really high combat level monsters. And it's going to take some combat stats to actually try to kill them. So to be honest, I would probably not do Cheldar until you got like 60 combat sets, until you can use like dragon weaponry, or until you've got like a rune crossbow or something, because those attack bonuses are really going to help you out. Neve, again, you're going to be getting more higher level combat creatures than you would with Cheldar, but you're going to be getting about, or the quantity of what you're going to get them is much higher than with Cheldar. So in order for your tasks to not take 3 hours to do, you're probably going to want about 70 combat stats, and when it comes to Duradale, you're getting pretty close to the same tasks as Neve, maybe a little bit different, but for the general part, you're getting pretty close to the same tasks, and you're getting a ton of them. So in order for your tasks to not take 3 or 4 hours, you're going to want about 75 combat stats in order to make sure that those tasks are progressing at a relatively quick rate. So let's talk about the benefits of these guys. Why do you want to do certain Slayer Masters? Really, the only benefit you're going to get, besides more experience because of longer tasks, is the Slayer points that you get with them. Now, as shown by the screen, your points jump dramatically from Vanica to Cheldar, and there's a good reason for it. The monsters that you're getting from Vanica are much weaker than what you get from Cheldar. So, yes, the Slayer point incentive is nice when you look at the difference between Vanica and Cheldar, but the time it takes for you to do those tasks is going to take forever anyway. So if you're not using Cheldar consistently, basically what you want to be doing, if you're trying to train Slayer for actual experience, is you're going to want to use whatever Slayer Master is comfortable for you. So if you're level 70 combat, but you're not comfortable doing Cheldar's tasks because it'll take too long and you're using Vanica, you want to use Vanica for your first 9 tasks, and then on that 10th task, that milestone task, you want to use whatever Slayer Master you can at the highest level. The reason for that is because the point boost is going to help you out tremendously in helping you unlock like the Slayer helmet, superiors, Slayer rings, things of that sort. You do this for the other Slayer Masters as well. So if Neve is the highest one you can go to, but you can't really kill your tasks fast enough and you use Cheldar, you're going to want to use Cheldar for the majority of your tasks, but then on those milestone tasks, you're going to want to use Neve. Now, if your concern is like, I want to use this Slayer Master because he's going to give me more points, if you're worried about points, then go do Wilderness Slayer. You'll get 25 points a task, and you will get a ton more on your milestone tasks as well. And if you're really concerned about point boosting, then all you need to do is do your first 9 tasks with Turiel, and then go do your 10th task with your highest Slayer Master. And that was the traditional way of boosting Slayer points. But nowadays, with Wilderness Slayer points, you can get them pretty fast just by using Crystalian, I think is her name. But I've never really used Wilderness Slayer points, or Wilderness Slayer tasks, because in getting 93 Slayer, I'm still sitting on like 2.3k Slayer points, and I have no idea what to spend them on. But now for the real reason you probably clicked on this video. Neve versus Duradale. Which one's better? Let's talk about this. So Neve has no Slayer requirement and requires 85 combat before you can get any kind of tasks from her. Now, what are the benefits of Neve? Well, for one, if variety is kind of something that you want when doing Slayer, she's got a very large variety of monsters to choose from, or not really choose from, but to be given tasks from. So if you're worried about burning out and killing the same monster and over and over and over, Neve actually has a large variety of different creatures she can actually assign to you, as shown by her Slayer list on the left. This is a picture from a spreadsheet. I got the idea from Zulu when I first started getting into Slayer, so I went ahead and updated one and made one for myself. I'll have a link for it in the description. Zulu kind of gave me the idea initially, but I'm not sure if he's updating it. I'll continue to update this as new creatures get developed into the game. But basically what the list shows is the creatures that she'll assign, the amount that she could assign, and then the weight of that task being assigned, which is basically like the percent chance that you could actually get this assigned. So if something's got a weight of 10, it's going to be much more likely that you're going to get assigned that versus something that has a weight of 2, like the Zygamites on here. Another thing about Neve is that she offers a very good experience type of monsters. If you look at the tasks, one, she offers Tazar or Jad tasks, which is once you know how to kill Jad, one of the best experience tasks in the game from how quick you can do the fight case with a blowpipe. She also has a high amount of cannon tasks. You've got Blood Velds, you got Black Demons, you've got Fire Giants, Call Fights, Dagonoths, Hellhounds, Suka. You've got a lot of different cannoning tasks on this list. So if you're looking after experience, Neve's probably going to be the way to go. She's got a lot of variety, so if you're looking for variety, she's a good one to go to. But mainly because of the amount of Jad you'll be getting and the amount of cannoning tasks, she's great for experience. But what about Duradale? He's like the highest Slayer master. He should give you a ton of experience for the monster you get, right? Not really. Duradale gives you a smaller pool of monsters to choose from than Neve, so it's a much more refined. So if you look at the weighting for these tasks, a lot of them are a lot higher, and that's because there's not a whole lot of them to choose from, or not as many of them to choose from. So some of them you're going to be getting a little bit more frequently. Also, these tasks are very high level. You've got Dark Beasts at ranking at an 11 rating, you have Abyssal Demons at a 12 rating, you've got Boss tasks at a 12 rating. All three of those are very high level creatures, and they're very high level Slayer creatures. And that's part of the reason why Duradale assigns them, is because he is the top Slayer master. He should be giving you the hardest Slayer monsters, because you should have the highest Slayer requirement to do this guy anyway. So he gives you a smaller pool of monsters to choose from. The tasks you get, though, are much larger, so you'll be at the task for a longer period of time, which in theory could equal more experience because you're not having to bank or change out gear, get a new task, whatever. If you're looking for money, it's more boss-related tasks. So you've got Abyssal Demons for Abyssal Sire, you've got actual boss tasks, you've got Hellhounds for Cerberus, you've got Tazars on there as well, you've got Cave Kraken, Dagonoth Kings, Greater Demons for Zami. You have a lot of boss-related tasks on there. And a lot of these tasks are very actually high money. So you've got Abyssal Demons, which can drop you whips. Boss tasks obviously are good for bossing, or good for money. Smoke Devils are on there. Neck Rails, which are great, and also great experience for bursting. But overall, Duradale, from looking at this list, in my opinion, he's going to give you a lot more money tasks, but not the best experience when it comes to like actually doing your tasks, because there's not a whole lot of cannon tasks on there, and the cannon tasks that are on there, they're not weighted as high as Neve, and there's not as many of them as on Neve's list. So who's better? Honestly, it's really up to you. I mean, both of the lists are going to be on the screen right now. You've got Neve on the left, and you've got Duradale on the right. To be honest, it's really up to you. The Slayer points between these two is a difference of 3. If you do end up using Neve, then go ahead and use Duradale in your milestone test to make sure you're maximizing your points. But in all honesty, my advice to you is Slayer is a long-ass skill anyway. It is probably one of the lowest XP rates in the game, so you're going to take a long time to do this. Obviously, if you're going for max efficiency, then you won't be doing the most experienced tasks, which in my opinion, I think it's Neve, but I haven't done enough research or haven't tested enough to really decide which one it actually is. But Slayer's a slow skill. Do whichever Slayer master you're going to enjoy. So my advice to you, look at these two lists. look at which ones you're going to enjoy doing the most tasks from, and then use that person as your Slayer Master. If you end up using Duradale because you like a lot of his tasks, then great, use Duradale, and you never have to switch masters. If you end up using Neve, like I said, on your milestone levels, just switch to Duradale and get that extra point boost. Also, fun fact, once you've done the Elite Western Provinces, which is going to take you forever to do, but once you've done those, they will actually give the same amount of points. So Slayer points is fucking irrelevant at that point. So really, look at your list, look at the Slayer monsters, figure out which ones you're going to block based on the weighted ones. By the way, that's how you decide what you're going to block, is you look at what Slayer monsters actually have the highest weight, and then block whichever ones you don't want to do. That's how you decide what you want to block. So after you've done your blocks, figure out which one's going to give you more of the tasks you want to actually do, and then pick that as your Slayer Master. That's how I did it, and that's how I got up to 93 Slayer, and that's how I still enjoy Slayer even after hitting that high. Alright guys, well that's going to do it. This was a slightly requested video. I think it's something that needs to get out there about Neve versus Duradale. So I hope you guys did enjoy it. I spent a little bit of time researching this. I put together a Google Doc, which is in the description. I'll have a link to both of them. It should be available for you guys to see it. That way you can make your own decisions about who you want to choose and what you want to block. So if that doesn't work, please let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to change it. Shout out to the clan chat. Right now we're sitting about 53 people in there, which is crazy. It's gone up from, I think it was like 10 to 30. Now we sit comfortably at like 40 or 50. So constantly growing, guys. Again, it's been crazy what you guys have done. So if you did enjoy this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more of this content, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to give me feedback on anything, just put it in the comment section below. Link to the Discord will also be in the description, so check it out there. And if the links don't work, yell at me in the description or in the comments, and I'll fix it, or attempt to at least, because I never use Google Documents. But yeah, also Barbarian Assault Guide. Yes, I'm making one. It just takes a lot of time because there's a lot of stuff I want to cover. So I apologize for that. This is not the BA guide, but it will be coming out. So have a great night. Thank you guys for watching.